Hey guys, Vince Luca here, and I have a problem, an issue with the hunting grounds, and I don't know if I'm the only one. I'd like to hear from the community or you guys if you feel like especially on console, on the PS5, the grass, like every strain of grass, every blade of grass has shadow, and it's making it so like flickery. And I don't know if it's just my eyes, but I feel like it's just flickering too much. Like the grass is it looks pixelated. It looks like there's a pixelation happening on the grass, and it's just annoying. And the only way I could fix this is by putting the graphics on FSR, and then changing the quality to just leaving it at quality. And I feel like that removes it. It kind of reduces the graphics of the game. But it looks better. Like it's weird. I never thought I'd say this, but bringing down the graphics makes the game look better or feel better as you're playing it, especially through the hunting grounds. I don't know why, but ever since I've made this switch to this graphic method on the PlayStation 5, I feel like the game just feels better on the eyes. So yeah, I mean, if you're having an issue with the graphics and you feel like it's weird, it's pixelated, there's something not right, especially if you're coming from Diablo or Path of Exile 1, you're like, there's something not right with the grass here, yeah, change it to FSR in the upscale mode and you should be okay. And I also felt the same way in town. So when I go back to town, like the hay on the roof is kind of flickering for some reason, and it was just annoying to see. And I was like, am I the only one that this is bothering, or is it is there other people out there that are feeling the same way I'm feeling? Like, look at the flicker on the roofs. Like the hay is flickering and it looks pixelated. Like it's like there's just a lot of stuff vibrating. I don't even know how to explain it. It's just weird. Graphically it's weird, and I hope they fix it, but for now I have to go to a different upscale mode. Maybe the sharpness doesn't change anything. I mean, the floor looks great, everything looks great, but every time there's blades of grass or blades of hay, it flickers on PlayStation, and it's weird. So I mean, I'm just gonna keep it to FSR and quality, and I feel like that brings it to the level of just a normal Diablo, Path of Exiles type of graphics. There's no more flickering happening on the roofs and stuff, so I'll just keep it at that. And yeah, but I'd really like to know in the comments if you guys feel the same way or have that issue on PlayStation 5, but it's weird for me, and I can't do it. I hope they fix it. I hope they change it. I hope we can play with the higher graphics without that flickering happening. Also, while I'm at it, just some options for your map. Just gonna change some controls here. Show the map in the corner. Yeah, so landscape transparency right here. If you're new to the game, bringing down the landscape transparency on your map is pretty useful. It removes all the landscape, all the useless, basically the graphics that are on the map, which you don't really need. Visually it's nice, but that's about it. Especially if you're on the treetop maps, like having the landscape on the background is really bad. Like, you need that completely off, especially if you're on the map where you're in the treetops. It's the worst. So if I were you, I'd remove the landscape transparency. You could zoom in and out, but I mean, having it zoomed out at the max is probably better, so you know where you haven't been. And the map transparency as well, you don't need it super high. Bring it kind of like 1/3 up, and that should be fine. But go into your options, change the graphics, change whatever is bothering you, especially on the map part of it. And you could disable screen shakes. You don't really need that. It's all it's going to do is hinder your gameplay. I mean, it looks good, but you don't need the screen to be shaking, especially when you're fighting a boss or whatever. So you might want to remove that. there's a lot of good options to go through, and I suggest you go through them before playing the game. I know this video was about graphics, but now since I'm in the options, I'm going to be talking a little bit about some of the options here that you can go in and change. Show the mana levels. That's pretty good, especially if you want to know the exact number of how much mana you have left and health and stuff like that. That's useful. Show the flask buffs if you're taking some flasks, or if you have things that automatically trigger buffs, you might want to like see that. And an important one here is the main life bar of your character on top of your character instead of just on the bottom left of the screen or right, wherever you put your health bar. But having your health bar on your actual character is super useful if you're a player that you're noticing you're dying a lot, or you're popping your potions super late and you're like, oh man, I just needed one more second and I was going to push the potion button, but you didn't realize that you were low health. That is like a super useful thing to have on. Just your life bar on top of your head to tell you exactly when to pop that potion before you die. Also, another thing I like to do is remove my controller vibrations. This is for basically battery life. Just save the battery life on the controller. And also, you don't need to like constantly have vibrations happening in your hand when you're trying to focus on a boss fight or something like that. So yeah, I mean, go through the options, remove stuff that you don't need. That's obviously like self-explanatory, but mostly this video was for the graphical issue. I don't know why it was bothering me so much. The flickering that was happening in the grasslands, on the treetops, and in town, especially on the hay roofs. So if you have the same issue, please let me know in the comments. I don't want to feel like a crazy person, but yeah, if it bothered you, let me know, and hopefully that little fix helps the graphics, and hopefully the team at Path of Exile 2 address this graphical issue and fix it. And I'll see you next time.